But we're going to talk about the Scotia North because it's been decided. And Toronto, who had a strong lead in this division from the start, will be playing against the last team to clinch the play. Honestly, it's disgusting to me to see 59 points under the Canadiens for the sole fact that it was literally predicted you would need probably something like 63 to make the playoffs this year, like 60 some, and they didn't. And a lot of those are on loser points, which is tough.
They still have a game left, though, right?
Year.
Say that again. Yeah, they do. They have a game.
So they could get up to 60.
Yeah, it's
or
true.
61,
at this stage, they're at this, though. And they have a ton of injuries. So the Leafs are once again getting better. They have one of the worst power plays. Their PK actually appears to be pretty terrible. But luckily, so does the Montreal Canadiens. So it's not really a big deal in there. What we are seeing, though, is that separation in talent. The Montreal Canadiens have tons of injuries. Gallagher's been out. Shea Weber suffering injury. Carey Price is out. I'm not sure when he's back. My suspicion is that he will play the first playoff game against the Leafs. Will be Carey Price's return. Austin Matthews' goal scoring is on another level. Marner, and they're sorting out the second line, I think, with Foligno now playing on the second line. Is that right? Or is he going to be playing on the third line?
He played on the second line last game, so it's looking like that, potentially.
So we have this matchup, and this is the first time in how many years, Ryan, that the Leafs
42 years.
First time in 42 years.
Wow.
So all your grandparents are going to wheel themselves or take their strollers and walk themselves to the TV and remember the good old days of yelling about this as we see the Toronto Maple Leafs for the first time in that many years take on the Montreal Canadiens. Who do we have in this series and why?
I'll start us off. Pilon, he's been throwing some shade at Carey Price all season. And, what goes around comes around. And I think Carey Price has been listening to this podcast.
He's going to get hot because of me.
He's got something to prove that he's still the best goalie in come playoff time. So you add the fact that they beat Pittsburgh last year. They added Toffoli, who's a scoring beast. They have Shea Weber back there. And it's the simple fact that throughout history, Montreal, much like Boston, they always beat Toronto, right? Like they always beat Boston, no matter where the teams are in the standings. Montreal just always finds a way to beat Boston like 90% of the time, right? So I'm going to go Montreal in 7.
The hell, Sanjay? I thought you were jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, well, I didn't want this to be like all kumbaya, lovey-dovey. I saw that I was jumping on the bandwagon until I saw the opening video.
Fair enough.
Oh my
Fair
God.
enough.
Pissed off Sanjay is now my favorite. He's taking Adam digs at everything tonight, and it's hysterical. Oh my God. You know what? I'm gonna go with also. I think Montreal might surprise Toronto. I don't think that they're going to win that series. I'm having a really difficult time picking a team, though, which is weird because I usually have a little bit of a premonition on who's going to win series, and it's usually pretty easy for me. But
which is why you've won how many playoff?
Yeah,
fantasy
what a
pools?
bold prediction! I pick playoffs all the time. That's why I have all my money and all this power and everything else because I'm so good at predicting things. Okay,
104 points.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
I predicted that McDavid would have 104 points on this season.
When did you predict that anyways? Was that actually in one of our podcasts?
He actually predicted it online. He did.
Oh, online? Did. Okay.
Yeah, I tweeted it.
Yeah,
okay.
He did. You really did.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
continue.
So,
you dicks.
Use your powers. Use your powers and tell us. Come on, hurry up.
Okay.
Where's your hat?
I'm going to predict that this is the Montreal Canadiens in 7.
Unbelievable. You guys are doubting the Kings of the North here. What the hell?
You know what?
Once again, that does not work out well for the King of the North. I just want you to know
what the problem is?
Eventually.
That's it. The problem is that they've rode this 18-wheeler. They don't have their license. They have crashed it before. They're going to crash it.
That was a completely different team. I will say with the Montreal Canadiens, this was actually the one team for most of the season that I did not want the Leafs to play in the first round. They're a great defensive team. They're an analytical darling. And at one point in the season, they were one of the top teams in the league in offense as well. But Eventually that offense dried up. It ended up being more of a mirage. Like, they don't have that many elite scorers on this team. Price and Allen, they've been inconsistent in net all season long. And then it all kind of really fell apart. Like, they got COVID and they dealt with a number of injuries, and Drouin left for personal reasons. And really, they've basically limped into the playoffs. Like, how many games have they won this last stretch going to the playoffs? Not a lot. The Leafs, they're a powerhouse at 5-on-5, offensively and defensively. Yeah, they're struggling on the power play right now. Their penalty kill over the year, not that great. Although since the trade deadline, it's really picked up at least. The power play is an issue, but like Barron said, Montreal Canadiens special teams is nothing to write home about. So I see the Leafs dominating this one. I see them winning the series in 5.
Yeah, it's not a bad prediction, to be completely honest. But, if you have a healthy Canadiens team, we see the emergence of Cole Caulfield as well, who's come in and made a splash for them. I have to change my prediction because I was just kind of being a dick. I was. It's going to be Toronto in 6.
I'll go a little bit. I think one of the interesting points is that the Montreal Canadiens are built to be a playoff team, and that is the truth. Like, they were designed to be, like, there was I can't remember who the hell it was talking about this. It was I think TSN guy out of Montreal, that they were built to be like an antithesis to the Leafs, essentially, that they were built to be opposite of them, and they are in a lot of ways. So it makes for an interesting matchup. But I think the truth is right now, with the injuries, with the fact that this team is built essentially that if Carey Price is good, this team can do whatever the hell it wants. And he hasn't been good, and he's been injured, and that really leaves a lot of question marks up there. Now, if they can get away with all the dirty stuff that Corey Perry usually does and everything else, it's going to be a much tougher series on the Leafs than people think. Even if they win it in, let's say, 4 games, they're not going to walk easily through those 4 games. I really don't believe. But I do think at the end, the Leafs' depth, the way they've played, the goaltending, it just seems to be higher in all those things all season. And even though I thought Montreal would be the top team in the North, I can't see them beating the Leafs. I just can't. So I'm going to say the Leafs in 5.
I do want to say also the one point you made is, the Leafs of before were not really built for the playoffs, but Dubas changed all that in this offseason. He added a bunch of veterans. He added
old guys,
Foligno and Nash, like 2 really defensive guys to their lineup who can hit and grind as well. They're not a soft team anymore. They are, I think, better built for the playoffs this year.
That's fair. I just think Montreal is like strong, heavy hitting, and I think
I hear you.
That they get away with a lot of cheap stuff.
Yep.
And come playoffs, those things don't get called.
No, that's right.
And if they can shut down McDavid, they can shut down Matthews. Maybe they haven't quite yet, but I have to imagine that is coming at some point. Delayed Offside.